at one more example of a question involving this lampshade. So they've said at the end here the lampshade is a cylinder that's open at both ends. So there's no top and there's no bottom. So if you go and look at a lampshade you might have in the house, there's no top and there's no bottom because the lampshade's just going around like this just to sort of filter the light and also to stop you seeing the actual light bulb, or the globe. Okay? Now, it says this lampshade is to be covered. So you'll notice that all lampshades have something around it. It might be a glass one, but often they're made of fabric. So they actually have a wire base. All right, and that's what this is. It's a wire base. You can see these bits here. That sort of slots in over the top of the thing that holds the globe together. But it's a cylinder, this one. And they want you to find the area of material that's needed, maybe fabric, to make this lampshade. It does tell you something interesting here that we have to cope with though. There's 10% extra allowed for seams and overlaps. So for instance, if I was going to make a lampshade out of this, I can't just go, there's my lampshade material, and I'm going to just have those two bits just join, okay? It wouldn't work, so what we do is we allow for an overlap here. Okay, so we need to make sure that there's a piece that we can glue together, so we need an overlap. Okay, so in other words, if you notice what's happening here, this piece up here has to be longer than what that is. Okay, it has to be longer. All right, so we've got to think about how we're going to do this. All right. So we know that we're just finding a curved surface area of 2 pi RH. Okay, so now we've got to work out, well, we need 10% extra. So how are we going to do that? So this bit here, the 2 pi R, is going to be extended by another 10%. Okay, so let's just work out, if we just did the 2 pi R, I'll just move over here, if we just did the 2 pi R, what will we get? So we have 2 times pi times, now the radius, the diameter is 20, so the radius will be 10, we're just halving the 20, and we're going to put that into our calculator. So if we put that in, let's see what we end up with. We've got 2 times pi times 10 equals, and we end up with this number. Don't round anything off. Okay, now that has to increase by 10%. It's a little bit tricky, this question. So we've got to remember what we were doing before. This couldn't actually stick together with anything unless we increase it by 10%. Okay, so we're going to increase the 2 pi R by 10%. All right, so what we're going to do is take that number there now, and we want to increase that by 10%. Now I'm going to do this the short way, but if you want to do it in 2 steps, you can. To find 110%, we'll get there straight away. Okay, so we're going to find 110%, that's like adding 10% on to that answer there. Okay, so I've got my answer still on the calculator, so I'm just going to times by 110 over 100, and we get this. All right, now I'm going to take that answer there. I'm going to leave that on my calculator too. I'm going to take that answer there and I'm going to put that in here. All right, so I've got 69.11503.838. Running out of room here, I'll just squeeze that off. And then we have to times by, so that's just that bit there that we've added 10% onto. And then we have to times by, show you in a second. We have to times by 33. Okay, because what we're doing is adding 10% to that, right? So if we find 10% of 30, it will be 3. So we're going to add 3 on. So 30 plus 3 is 33. And if you multiply those out, this is what you get. And our answer is in, we're rounding, are we? Yes, 1 decimal place, 2280.8 centimetres squared. So that's allowing for an overlap, like I showed you before, but also an overlap for the height, because it's going to roll over the top of the wire and the bottom of the wire for that extra little piece there. Okay, so I know that's a really tricky question, that one, but I just wanted to go through it and see how we went. Okay, so you can go and try your homework. There won't be any this hard.